Hello, welcome. We are live. Welcome to Conversations to Raise Vibrations. This is our weekly Wellness Wednesday show that we do. I am your host, Lisa Kelly, and I am always joined by the beautiful Elvira Hopper. And if you are joining us live, hopefully you've given StreamYard permission to share your name. Otherwise, let us know in the comment section who you are. If you're watching later, as always, please hit hashtag replay. Let us know what you love about this conversation, because we do these for you as well as for us, but we do them for you, and we love to know what you get out of it. And we love engaging in conversation during this. So if you're on live, please throw in your comments and we'll try to read them out loud. And if you're watching later, just jump over to our YouTube channel and hit like, share, and subscribe. So thank you. We are excited about today's because this is, and I know it, we say this every week, it's divinely guided, but for sure this is divinely guided today. Little bit of a backstory. I just had a client, so I just did a Huna energy healing. And the overarching theme of this woman's healing today was trusting. And I mean, it went further, but the overall arching theme was trust. And I said to her at the end of it, I feel like this is kind of for me as much as it is for you, which often is the case.
Yeah.
And then we sat down, Elvira and I, in the studio, and we're like, what are we talking about? And as she was talking, I'm just shuffling this beautiful oracle deck that I love, that I use. It's, if anybody's familiar with Alana Fairchild, I love her. But this one is called Sacred Rebels. And in Huna energy, we have the unconscious mind, or the inner child. And we have the conscious mind, right? The mother, and then the super I, the higher self. I'm sure that's what child set out to put on there, but that's in Huna energy, we use that all the time. And so today, as I was shuffling, Elvira can attest to this, 2 cards fell out of the deck. And so when they fall out, that's
chills. Yeah.
The universe wants you to know. Yeah. Okay, so the first card that fell out, inner trust. The second card, there's something in this one too I'm going to talk about. The second card is trust yourself.
What do we talk about today?
Clearly, the universe wants us to talk about trust. So this is what we're going to talk about. So something in here we all need to hear. I'll just read the beginning of this picture. I have to say, I was in a meditation. Yes. 2 mornings ago, I did this meditation. I just journaled about this morning. And I saw myself in a forest. It was kind of a dense forest, and I was having a hard time finding my way out. It's in my life right now. And I was wearing a cloak, and it was over my head. I don't know.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So I'll just read the beginning of this. If anybody wants the rest of it, because they are quite long, I'll screenshot it and put it in our comment section. Though it may be cloaked and hidden, within you lies natural magnificence, vibrancy, and true uniqueness. The harder this is for you to believe, the more growth this oracle is offering you right now. Your opportunity for growth lies in letting go of the need to hide yourself from the world, and to let go of any doubt about the wonder of what lies within you. This oracle brings you the message that it is time for you to trust yourself and let the real inner you out from behind the veil. So
that's beautiful.
Put it in the comment section, who can relate to that. Because I can tell you this is me right now. So this is absolute perfect time. And they always have at the end of this a healing process, which Elvira and I agreed we'll do this at the end.
Yeah.
The healing process that she offers. So Tori Jo is live. Good morning, Tori Jo.
Oh, hello, Tori Jo.
Yeah, Janet messaged Elvira and let me know here.
She's got a dental appointment, so we're sending Janet love. Let's send her love for a very painless procedure. Yeah.
Tori Jo said, I can totally relate. Yeah, right? It's a good one. Inner trust. we tend to hide ourselves away from the world because of that fear, right? And this morning in my, I don't know if anyone else gets the Abraham Hicks quotes, but I'll read the beginning of it, because fear is the emotion that comes forth when you are choosing a thought that is not up to speed with the desire that you hold.
Yeah.
And have these big desires for ourselves, right? We all, can envision that's not a problem. We know where we want to be, but then that fear, that thought, those thoughts of fear take over. And so our desire is vibrationally up here. And then of course it keeps us down here. So
Yeah.
how do we match? Because match for that desire that we're looking for. And I think it's moving into this space of trust.
Yeah.
And as I said to my client this morning, it's trust of yourself. It's trust in the messages you're given. It's trusting in others. It's trusting in, in the world. It's just moving into that space of trust, trusting your body. And you can talk further on this because you were saying in the studio, how it makes you feel when you trust yourself. So yeah. Do you have anything
Yeah,
on that?
I love that. Well,
Mm,
yeah, I love that this theme came through today. The name of this show is going to be How to Trust Yourself, because
yeah,
really that's what we all need to do. We need to trust that we're doing what we're meant to be doing, and
yeah,
that we are showing up in an aligned way, with our higher self, our higher
yeah,
power, in that high vibration, as we like to call it in my group, the miracle magnet zone, where
yeah,
you can trust yourself, where you do get the downloads from spirit. You
yeah,
get those inspirations. It's like, how do I know that I know? Well, I don't know, but I know. and I'm clairsentient, so I don't know how I know, but I know. I'm
yeah,
sure you're the same, Lisa,
yeah,
and I'm sure Tori Joe is, and anyone else watching that is more spiritual. You don't know how you know, but that's your intuition. That's
yeah,
trusting that there's something bigger than you that's coming through you. And I want to talk a little bit about, taking it back to why don't we trust ourselves? So I want to talk about conditioning. So when I was a little girl, I remember my dad saying to me, I'll never forget this. I forget how old I was. He goes, I'm always right. So what does that mean? That when I
wow,
don't agree with him, I'm wrong.
yeah, yeah,
So I don't trust myself because he's always right. And so that's a patriarchal thing. That's an Italian
yeah,
father thing, right? That's a, yeah, like it's kind of toxic masculinity at its best, right? Like I'm always right. And so, I'm sure he had trauma and he was living it through, fathering me, in some degrees. He was a great dad, to be honest. Like, honestly, he was such a heart-centered man. He was my soft place to fall. My mother was more of the ice princess, just because their personalities were different.
yeah,
But my
yeah,
father, at times would get, into this mode where, they're there, I'll take care of you. Like I remember, like, this is another weird thing. I never got an allowance because he said to me, well, if you need something, I'll buy it for you. So,
okay.
so I grew up with the thinking that men take care of women.
Ah, interesting.
So that was an interesting thing to examine, with my husband, because, for many years he was the main bread earner. And now I am, and he's the COO of my company. Right. So I had to undo that conditioning that men take care of you, because now I'm running what my mentor, AG Marishta, calls an epic empire. And,
Mhm.
he's helping me to run it, so, but it's not like he's taking care of me. Like we take care of each other, the business. And so yeah, so as a kid, I grew up not trusting myself, because if he was always right, I'm wrong. So I
Yeah.
don't trust myself. So this is the conditioning, so just a little
Well,
bit of my conditioning, right?
and also if you needed a man to look after you, how could you possibly
How could I
trust yourself
trust
to look
myself?
after
Yeah.
yourself, right?
Yeah. So
It's the
that's
same thing.
huge. That's huge.
And we have a Facebook user. Sorry, I don't know your name because it's not coming up. But if you just want to throw it in the comments, I fear the evil in people, and I fear that I trust too quickly. I have been shown too much evil. It's hard to trust that I won't be hurt or abused. Okay,
Hmm.
so
Oh,
there's a lot
wow.
going through.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
first
there.
there's a lot here. So first
Yeah.
of all, I want to oh, was that you, Tori Joe? Okay, perfect. So first of all, I want to. There's a lot. I can feel a lot, and I empathize
Yeah. Yeah.
with that statement. So what I would say is, if you were my client, I would say, give me 3 times where you have not felt evil or felt abused in the world. Right. So I would work through this with you. Because what you're showing right now, what you tell me here is, I feel abused or I feel hurt. Well, name me 3 times that you haven't felt abused or hurt. Because now you're showing that your unconscious mind coming forward, you're showing your conscious mind that's running the show. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, you're doing what's called a pattern interrupt. Okay. So you're interrupting that pattern. That's the first thing. I might also start to talk to you a little bit about reframing that, reframing what you're telling yourself too. And it's not suggesting, and Elvira, jump in at any point, it's not suggesting these things haven't happened. I'm careful with my words, for you, right? And to help you grow and help you learn from all these experiences. It's not to say those things haven't happened, but it's changing the emotion that's around those experiences, right? That's what we want to start to do. It doesn't mean those things didn't happen, but it's changing the emotion that you're holding around those experiences, if that makes sense to you. Anything you want to add? Or
Yeah, I'm going to take it in a slightly different direction. So that's a beautiful way to do it. And actually, we're going to be doing our group coaching program. We're going to be doing the beta. So excited about that. And we've been going through some of the content, and you've been sharing this modality,
yeah,
and I love it. So I don't do an NLP, so I'm so glad that you have that modality, and I have mine. And so my approach to Tori Jo would be a little bit different. And I would invite her to consider, is evil a construct? Is it something that we've had to tell ourselves because maybe it's old patterns, old conditions that, that person's evil, that person's evil. But is anybody really evil? Or are we merely children of the divine that have forgotten who we are? And is it possible to have compassion where you might say, oh, that person's evil? How about what happened to that person? Not what's wrong with you and you're evil, but what happened to you that you're showing up that way? In other words, having compassion for trauma, because most of the world is walking around with trauma, and they show up in ways that can look evil, but it's actually trauma. And so I choose to look at everyone as a divine being. No, there is no evil in my world. There's no hell that, we're all going to be like the Catholic Church taught me. There's hell. If you're not good, if you're evil, you're going to go there. I don't believe in that. I believe that we are divine beings, that we're brought here by a divine source, and therefore we too are divine. And anyone who doesn't believe that is just disconnected from their authentic self. This is what I believe. And when we do connect with the fact that we are divine, and that if people show up evil, they've simply forgotten who they are, and they need to reconnect with that. And what do you need to let go of so that, for example, if you can let go of the fact, like if you're projecting and calling someone else evil, I'm just going to put it out there, there's a part of you that believes you're evil too, because that's projecting onto someone else. So I would invite Tori Jo to go deeper and say, was she ever called evil? Does she believe that there's an evil part to her? And can she do some inner work around that so that she can let go of that, the fact that there's evil in the world? Because if she sees evil, you're pointing a finger, you got 6 pointing back at you, right? So that is my perception of evil. I'm just being really, really frank. There was a time when I blamed people and hated them and shamed them for bullying me, and I was this victim. And I had to let go of all that thinking because it wasn't going to serve me. And when at rock bottom, I realized I was not a piece of crap that was being treated badly by these people. I was a child of the divine, and that I had a bigger purpose. And when I took on that mindset, that's when I started spiraling upwards and became a miracle magnet. And today I call myself CMM, Chief Miracle Magnet, because everything that you perceive out there is we have to undo the conditioning, the patterns. Like my father told me that he's always right, therefore I'm wrong. I had to undo that, and I had to remember who I truly am. So I have a bit of a different approach. Does that make sense?
Well, no, because what you're saying is I believe that wholeheartedly, what you're saying. However, what I'm thinking is whether it's Tori Joe or somebody else. So Tori Joe, we're just, hopefully this is okay to use you here because you put this comment
She
in.
asked the question, and
Yeah.
she's
So,
coachable. I know she is.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know she is. So I'm looking at this, and the first thing that came to mind, and although I do those modalities, NLP, timeline therapy, I also um, use my guides, right? My guides speak through me. So that's the difference in me as opposed to just your NLP practitioner.
Yeah.
Um, and what comes to me, it's downloaded through me and I just give to clients. And what I get, the first thing I got was that's a trauma response
Yeah.
from Tori Joe. There's some trauma held within the body there that just wants to be released. But the fact that you put it out there and that you've said it shows that you actually trust yourself. We'll go back to today's show. Shows that you actually trust yourself more than you're letting on, and shows that energy, as soon as we verbalize whatever's bothering us, the energy does begin to shift.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, micro, you might not be able to feel it, see it, but it shifts, right? It's like you're loosening your grip. You're loosening your model of the world, shall we say?
Yeah.
On
Your
you're actually-
worldview. Yeah. Yeah.
you are actually loosening that view a little bit just by verbalizing it. So first of all, well done you for even putting that out,
Yes.
right? Like I want to acknowledge that. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it does take contemplation. She said this is going to take some contemplation, and it really does. But I don't want you to stay stuck in that place of contemplation. Feel it. Feel where it resides in the body. Actually, the healing that we're doing at the end probably will be really good.
Yeah.
Where it resides in the body and allowing it to reframe what you're saying to yourself, whatever words work for you, like, yes, there's often times where I sit and say, okay, this is happening for me. I know this is happening. And I use all my words and all my tools to let it go, because what happens is we get stuck in the mind. And when we're stuck in the mind, we are not trusting that heart space that lies within us, our higher self, whoever you want to call it. We're really not trusting that space within ourselves. And I forgot where I was going with this because I'm reading her comment. Oh, I stop drinking because I would pick fights for physical effect to release frustration. Okay, great. So you've acknowledged that. And you, again, well done. I have been working on releasing many lives of trauma. Yeah, I feel that there's still some trauma happening within you. Otherwise that comment wouldn't have come out, right? Because like Elvira said, perfectly well said, that we are projecting onto the world what we're thinking, right? So if you're projecting, then there's something within you that needs to be healed. But I feel like Tori Joe does know that as well, because she she's put it out there. I'm just going to go back and read that once again. But it's trusting that you won't be hurt or abused. So somewhere along the line, there is some trauma that needs to be healed around trusting that because you've programmed yourself to be like Elvira programmed herself, or her, not consciously, of course, her father programmed that all men look after you, right? So she had to undo that program in order for her to move forward. And this is the inner work that Elvira and I talk about week after week, is doing that inner work so that you can show up, right, as your best self, as what this card is saying. Trust yourself, show up for the world, because until you heal those pieces within yourself, then you can't show up for the world, because you're not showing up for you. Right? Does this make sense?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Right. And it doesn't mean that when you're showing up for the world and you're on that world stage or doing whatever it is your desire are, I know Tori Joe has the desire to have the center, the wellness retreat center. It doesn't mean when you're running that profitable, because I do believe you will, Tori Joe, it doesn't mean you still don't have work to do. It just means now you know where to get at that trauma, the repressed emotions, the limit, whatever you're going through. Now you know how to get at that pain a little bit quicker and faster. And you will no longer think, for example, the world is at you or against you, the world is evil, or you will no longer think those thoughts. You will know whatever is happening for you. Whatever happened in your past was there showing up for you as an opportunity to learn, to grow and expand your soul. As Wayne Dyer says, that's the 2 reasons we're on this earth, for our soul to grow and expand. And I do believe I know you can do this. And
Yeah.
I do believe, first and foremost, you need to reframe how you're talking to yourself.
Mm. Yeah.
Reframe how you're talking. Think about it in a different light and understand what Elvira is saying is that these things are showing up for you, right? And it's what you're projecting. Tori Joe says, society is programming to believe I am nobody and never good enough. Society
Mm.
doesn't want me. Wow.
Yeah. That
Mind blown.
that's trauma. That's wounding. And I'm so glad you're saying it. Tori Joe, thank you so much. We receive you, we
Yeah,
see you.
yeah,
And now that it's out in the light, the shadows can't hide in the light because they're gone.
yeah,
Right. So let this be, the healing that Lisa's going to do at the end. Let this be the beginning of something new for you. I invite you to that possibility, Tori Joe, because you deserve it. You've been doing a lot of incredible work, and you've been, you're a doctor of mysticism. I believe I said that right. I'm not sure. Correct me.
yeah.
Yeah. And, yet a lot of it is up here because you're so smart
I
and
was
you've
just
taken
gonna,
on so much information. I want you to drop it
yeah, I
here
was
and
just gonna
embody
say
it.
this.
Yeah. I want you to embody that, you are a divine being, that you're here
Yeah,
for a purpose that's bigger than you. And when you get out of your own effing way, when you do, work on, effing in my books is fear and ego. And that's from trauma. When you heal more trauma, you will step into that light in a brighter way. And
yeah,
this is perfect, Tori Joe. There's no judgment of where you are. It's absolutely perfect because
yeah,
this is a part of your journey. And in fact, it's funny. I just posted this. I'm getting chills. I posted this on Instagram yesterday. I'm just going to read it to you.
yeah,
It's a quote by Mandy Hale. And it says, have faith in your journey. Everything had to happen exactly as it did to get you where you're going next.
yeah,
So consider, Tori Joe, that you're going to be working with light workers of the highest level, and your story will serve them because some of them are still going to be in that place where you are right now.
yeah,
So you're going to help them cross over. You're going to hold up at the torch and say, follow me. I know the way.
yeah,
I've been where you are.
yeah,
I know what it's like to be there. And you give them hope, inspiration, and tools. Hits, hope, inspiration, and tools.
mhm,
That's what you get to be, Tori Joe, if you want to.
mhm,
And it's not for the weak of heart to do this work. It does take effort. There could be, I invite you to sit the journal and a box of Kleenex and just feel all the feelings, write them out, yell if you can, or cry or whatever. Just feel the feelings because the issues are in the tissues, right? They
mhm,
got to be released from your body. You need to feel them
mhm,
to heal them. I
mhm,
know it's cliche, but that's the only way we can get
mhm,
over it is through, I did therapy for 2 years when I was a new mom. And that's why, when I hit rock bottom, therapy didn't work anymore and I wanted something faster. But well, no, it does work. I could have gone at rock bottom to therapy for a few more years, but I wanted something faster. So I know therapy works. And one of the things my therapist said was psychic pain or emotional pain or wounds or whatever you want to call it, trauma is the opposite of physical pain. So, for example, if you touch a hot stove, would it be a good idea to remove your hand as quickly as possible, or do you want to leave it there for a while?
right.
You want
Well,
to
we know,
remove, right?
yes.
Because it's physical pain. Whereas psychic pain or emotional pain or psychological pain, the pain of trauma and wounding, is you need to stay there for as long as you can so that you feel it and you feel it and you feel it, and then you feel lighter. So journaling works really well for this. So if
Mhm,
that's something that speaks to you, Tori Joe, thank you for sharing this. And please try that. I'm sure you've done a lot of journaling, but if you can specifically work on that piece, like people are evil, and then you just start writing about all the feelings you had about all the evil people that treated you bad, and just get it out there. Like
mhm,
it's going to be really, really cathartic.
yeah,
Maybe during the process, it's not going to feel so good, but on the other side, it will. And there's a great book I'm reading right now. I'm just going to recommend it. My amazing mentor and coach shared it with me. It's called Existential Kink.
yeah,
And it's a modality, EK. And check that out because it's all about healing our shadows, healing our wounds and our shadows. So that might be something you want to check out. So I'm just going to drop that there.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's good. And just to go back to getting out of the headspace, because I was just chatting with my energy healer, and she said, we get into the mind so much, and where that mind is running the show, the conscious mind, right? And it's constantly running. People. I'm just going to use this as an example. People are evil. I'm no good. Nobody wants me. You've got to somehow stop the story
The
in your head,
story. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's
That's a
that
story.
stop, drop, and breathe. This is how she.
Mm.
You stop the story into your head, drop into that heart space, and however that looks for you, whether it's mentally a mental image, whether it's holding your heart, whatever you need to do to drop into that heart space. That's the story. I don't need to be there. I know I need to be in my heart space. And take a really deep breath in, because that breath is the bridge that connects you to your higher
Mm.
self. And
Mm.
the only thing, and Elvira said this at the beginning, is you've disconnected from your higher
Mhm.
self. You've disconnected from your truth. You just
Yeah.
want to step back into the light. My energy healer used to say, we've stepped out of the light, and it's okay because
Yeah.
we're human,
Yeah.
right? We're going to
And
step out of
no judgment whatsoever.
the light. It's okay.
Because I
But now,
forget who I am some days too, right? I've been tested the last week really big, and it's like,
yeah.
holy shit. Like, you
So
know,
you want to step back in. And
yeah.
she actually does it physically. She's like, "Ooh, I stepped out. I'm going to step back into the light."
Mm.
Whatever works for you, I say use it. But
Mhm.
you've got to get into the and it takes 7 seconds for this thought to take over, right? It's called the amygdala hijack. We've all heard of it.
Mm.
And it takes over our entire body. Our breathing changes. Our the blood starts to change. Everything in our body, organs included. We release that chemical, the neurotransmitter chemical of cortisol that races through our body, and it gets faster. Everything gets faster. Our breathing gets shallower.
Yeah.
So you really need to be paying attention to those negative thoughts that are coming up in your head. Reframe them. I talk to myself, not out loud when I'm out, but I do. I talk to myself,
Yeah.
and I say, okay, I'm in the head again. I need to drop down. I know I'm in the head. That mind is
Yeah.
trying to run the show. And I'll just do whatever it takes to get out of the mindset. There's that fear again. Okay. Get out as quickly as you possibly can. And the more you do this, the easier it will become to begin to just trust yourself, trust your guides, trust your higher self, trust whoever it is you believe in, that you are being led for a higher purpose. So just
Mm.
trust,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
I
that.
love
And the
it.
higher purpose is really what gets me through everything. Like, honestly, I posted it today on Facebook. I said, allow your purpose to become the most important thing, because everything else falls into place. Like,
Yeah.
if Tori Joe could focus on the fact that she's here to build this wellness center because she wouldn't have been gifted this idea, this feeling
Exactly.
that she needs to do it without any reason. And she needs to become the person that allows that thing to come through her, because
Yeah.
she's the channel of that thing. And
Yeah.
she needs to go deeper with the trauma. And we've suggested a few little different, modalities. Lisa had a few, I had a few, a book that you could possibly read, Tori Joe, but it's all up to you. You get to choose which you want to do. You can use more than one modality, use them all. But it's whatever helps you, you get to use it to help others one day. So know that where you are is absolutely perfect, and you need to be there.
Yeah.
And but it's up to you when you want to shift out of it. And I don't recommend spiritually bypassing. Like, I know what you said, get out of it fast. I know this is wasn't what you were talking about, Lisa, but when we feel the feelings, we need to feel them
Oh, yeah.
and
That's not what I mean.
yeah,
Yeah. That's not
exactly.
what I mean.
But as you do this work more and more, you can get out of it faster, just
Yeah.
because you've been there before. Oh yeah, that's an old pattern. I remember that. That's not true. This is who I truly am. I'm a divine being here for a bigger purpose.
Yeah.
And when I believe that,
Yeah.
I drop into my heart. I know who I am. You can
Yeah.
hear my voice, like it even gets lower. So it's not like I'm up here in my head. I embody who I
Yeah.
truly am. And Tori Joe, you are a bright light worker,
Yeah.
and you need to just do the work so you believe it too.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And she says, Epiphany, society might not want me, but it needs me. over
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yes, Tori
been
Joe.
able to shake my desire for over 8 years. This is the work.
Yes.
You're here,
Yes.
you're ready, let's do the work. Let's go.
Yes.
It's fun.
And I'm gonna invite her to reframe society might not want me.
I was just
Um,
gonna say that.
perhaps yeah, perhaps she can reframe it to maybe not all of society wants me, but the people that need her really need her and they need this work that
And
she
they'll
was brought
find
here
you.
to do.
The
And they're
people
going to
that
find
need
you
her are gonna find
because the more you show up authentically you
you. Yeah,
without fear, without judgment of calling people evil, because if you call people evil, they're going to show up evil. Okay. So I invite you to really
yeah,
flip that today so that you can start being that miracle magnet, attracting that which is yours.
yeah.
So
I agree. I agree. Okay, let's do this healing
yeah, let's
quickly.
do the healing. Okay.
It's not
We're at
long.
time.
So
Okay.
take a deep breath and put your hands on your heart. And you can either say it aloud if you're alone or say it to yourself clearly. I trust in the love of my heart. And then place your hands on your stomach and say aloud or think clearly, I trust in my instincts.
I trust in my instincts.
And place your hands on your belly and say aloud or think clearly, I trust in the flow of life.
I trust in the flow of life.
And then say the following aloud or to yourself, I trust myself.
I trust myself.
I trust in my higher self.
I trust in my higher self.
I trust in life.
I trust in life.
When I don't know, my higher self does know.
When I don't know, my higher self does know.
I am guided by the wise voice of my higher self within my heart.
I am guided by the wise voice of my higher self within my heart.
I trust myself and I allow myself to be guided in all things by the wise, instinctive knowing within.
All of what Lisa said.
I am not afraid to be seen. I unveil myself from my hiding places, and step by step, I show myself with all my unique beauty to the world. I am seen and I am received with love by myself and others. I am worthy.
I am worthy. And so it is. Oh, namaste. That was so beautiful, Lisa. I got so many chills as you were saying that. And yeah, I invite everyone to put in the comments below, what was it like for you to experience that? And maybe you can take a snapshot of it so people can read it.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this was so
Thank you,
juicy. Thank you.
Tori Jo, thank you so much
Thank
for
you, Tori
showing
Jo.
up, showing up today.
Yes.
You know, you showed up and
for herself and for us,
for others, to help the healing begin. And you know what? You are worthy, 100%. So
yeah.
Thank you to everyone else who showed up.
Cheers.
And we'll be watching later. We love you and we will see you next week. Bye.
Yes. Mwah.
3, 2, 1, 0.